Okay, call the meeting to order. Roll call. Justin Ritter is absent and excused tonight. Otherwise, we've got our quorum. Do we have any correspondence? No correspondence? Great. Public comments and appearances. Anybody wish to address the board? Sounds like not. Move on to the consent agenda. First item is to approve the minutes of our June 2024 meeting.
I'll move to approve.
Got a motion? Any second?
I'll second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries. Item B, approve schedule of invoices, June 2024.
I'll make a motion to approve.
You have a second?
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Item C, approve revenue and expense report, June 2024.
I'll move to approve.
I'll second.
Got a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? All right, motion passes. Item 5, library director's report. Building update?
So we're still having some issues with air conditioning, and they're trying to work out a plan because they are in the process of, they want to redo the whole HVAC system. We're hoping that we might be able to get through the summer without doing a $6,000 fix for the air. But it's been okay so far, but I don't know how long it's gonna last. So I am gonna talk to Rob. He has talked to Bassett, and hopefully, well, they'll make a decision. It's that to pay the $6,000 when they're gonna redo everything. But we may have to. And we should know for sure. It should be done by next month.
Are there any particular areas of the building that are most impacted?
Yeah, it's east side of the building, in the community room, and then the upper levels, the upper level in the adult fiction and nonfiction collection, Rosalia's office. But now it's really cool, so there's something going on. So hopefully we can get it all figured out. But there is a plan going forward with replacing the whole system.
Have we gotten any complaints from the users of the community room?
The only complaint we got was that it was a little warm. We had a huge animal program with over 100 in attendance. So when you fill the room up, we do have fans in there and the windows do open. But yeah, that's the only complaint we've had so far. So because it was at night, all the heat was, but during the morning it's been okay.
Is it getting the humidity out?
Nah, it can feel a little stink. No, they're not too. It's not too bad. It's a little bit better upstairs just because there's more airflow versus the community room. But I just wanted to make sure you're aware. And then other than that, the roof is holding. There hasn't been any leaks. We just got the roof replaced last summer, so it's done. We got a big test the last month, and I haven't seen any new leaks anywhere. So, and then we have library use statistics, which we're having a good summer. We can tell we are definitely busier. We're pretty close to post-COVID or pre-COVID numbers, which is good. I've talked to colleagues in our system, and we're all experiencing kind of the same demand and busyness. And hopefully that will continue. Summer reading program, We only have a few weeks left. It's really, it's,
Why don't we go through August? Why does it stop in July?
it
No.
it stops in the second week of August. Well, we thought with August, so many people go on vacation. And we definitely see the participation go. But we have really good participation. The last numbers, I believe, over 800. So that's really good for a library our size.
All right, on to new business, Flexible Facilities Program Grant.
So we actually got the application finished. It has been sent in. I think we did it the night before due date, right? Yeah. So first, I have to give a shout out and thanks for all the hard work that Rosalia worked on the grant. She really worked on the narrative. I worked on all the statistics and talking with all the vendors, and it was a lot of work. So what you have is just in your packet a summary of the grant and then a preliminary budget. So I did run it by a good friend of mine who has vast experience with federal grants and issuing them and all that. And she made some good recommendations to make some changes. This was a very difficult grant application. It was not your typical federal grant application that I'm used to. And it was nice to hear from other colleagues around the state that they found this not an easy process. Because when you ask for questions, they would not give you the clearest answer. So we were told at the beginning that they wouldn't be getting any partials, but it sounds like now, like if they don't like your answers for certain things, they still may pass and give you money to cover, for example, technology, which will really, really benefit us because we'll get a totally up-to-date network. We'll have the latest Wi-Fi protocols. All that will be up to date. So that's the one thing we want. And if they give us money to redo the bathrooms, we will be happy. I did get advice from other people, and they said we should not try to go over the top and ask for everything. And I've included the list from PRA, and a lot of this stuff, a lot of the building requirements will be covered by this grant. And some of the stuff has already been done. All the roof work has been done. So the ice damming, the flat roof is done, the retaining wall. So these were all recommendations from PRA. So I just printed it from the report. We did ask for flooring for the whole building. And actually the most expensive ask was, for update of electricity and all the lighting in the building. And did not put a lot of requests for furniture because they would not give us a clear enough answer if that would be accepted. So did not feel confident in asking. It didn't seem, it wasn't clear. We did not get a clear message back. So,
But you didn't put in all the internal work that PRA recommended, right, Tom? It was just you picked and chose?
yes, most, no repainting. But all the bathrooms updated, all new flooring. We are going to have to eventually redo the doors because they're running out of usefulness. And just many of it is covered. And if we can get the kitchen redone, that would be very helpful. So our focus is on technology, health and education, and employment. And we already do a lot of programming under these subject. I mean, we've been doing that all along. This would just enhance the services that we already provide. And then I don't know if I knew this information by the last board meeting, but they are updating our internet connection for free. We're going to have the top internet that BadgerNet provides, which is really AT&T, and which helps us because AT&T has an office right down the street. So we didn't ask for Windows. That's probably the biggest expense. There wasn't an ask. Like nothing outside was we asked for. So there was only 4 libraries, or 4 out of 31 libraries that applied in our system.
About Park and Rec.
Pardon?
Park and Rec.
I don't know. Did they apply? Do you know? Does any? Okay. Okay. So, and it scared off a lot of people. And I would not be surprised if they award, but then may start a different grant, just because this is really geared towards small libraries in Wisconsin. Remember, the majority of libraries in Wisconsin serve populations of 5,000 and below. And in many parts of Wisconsin, their technology is not up to date at all. It's actually kind of surprising of what they have access to in terms of the broadband. I mean, the schools are still pretty good, but in the rest of the community, there's still issues. So, it took a long time to come up with everything to write this grant. And many of these small libraries, they have 1 or 2 people, and it is. I will tell you. So even Beaver Dam, which really is kind of doing the same thing we are in terms of they just got their roof redone. They're using PNR as the architect to help them, but they actually were going to hire a grant administrator who writes grants for UW Madison, and she didn't like the grant and told them not to apply for it. They didn't. It wasn't clear enough. And she felt that it was very hard to meet the guidelines. So we did the best we could do. And we'll find out in September. So the next step is I'm just going to be talking to the architect and other people, and maybe just set up some meetings and just talk. And be prepared as we get the grant. One of the things we want to do is definitely set up a building remodeling committee with members of the community and the board, and looking to start that in October because we should know if we get the grant by then. So it is a really quick turnaround, and maybe we'll get lucky and they'll say, well, we're going to give you more money. Just because they got to get rid of the money, and that's happened before with some grants federal grants. It's like, oh well, we have an extra couple thousand. Would you want it? So we don't turn that down, right?
I'll keep my fingers crossed that we get more money than what we asked for. I left my notes from the last meeting not with me, so I apologize if my question was answered already. I think there was an ask from council at the last meeting too, in terms of, yes, the grant, but what other building needs do we have? Did that information get to council?
So, well, I do have I have sent out a list of, like as we went with that the new building route. However, with this, now I know exactly what we're asking for. I can send out a list that will need to be, things that need to be paid for. If we get the grant, what else we can do or can be done in stages. And I kind of want to wait until we know if we get the grant, because then it'll be really up to date. But the list from the architect, almost everything is covered in here except windows, anything outside. None of the staff areas included. I'm just double checking.
It looked like it was basically patron-facing needs, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And we are, in terms of, we're looking at I call them pods, meeting room pods, because actually they're not as expensive. They're all kind of pre-made and they kind of just plop in a space. You do have to pay for installation, which is kind of high, but we don't have to do like remove walls and all that. One of the things, just to let you know, we were not able to include any moving companies coming to help us, which I thought was odd, but they said no, it was not covered by the grant. So there will be that if we do that. And we should look at ways that try to find money. It may not be through the city, it may through fundraising, to replace all the shelving in the adult area so it matches. So one of the major design features will be a large 4-section of new shelving. That will be 4 shelves, and it'll be lighted. So that's where the highlighted health and employment information will be. And if we could continue, the shelving that we have now was okay back in the day, but it's too tall now, and if we lower, we could really improve that view on the whole level. And we're gonna have to start making decisions about the collection size, specifically nonfiction, adult nonfiction. We're not gaining any space with this renovation. So anytime we want to add something new, we have to take something away. Like right now, Children's is working on a big weeding project because they're adding different resources available, and they need that space to put it out to the public so they can see it. And this is just following the different trends that are currently taking place in libraries. I just want to mention the report I sent you that just came out today from PLA about technology. And we are right up there in the services that we provide, except we don't have any maker space, any of that. And we won't be able to do it because we don't have the space to do it correctly. I'm waiting for the library to get finished in Fox Point and to see what they have done. It's going to be very similar in size to they're the ones that they partner with the developer, but I want to see what they're doing on they're going to be a 1-level library. And fortunately, we won't have to go through what they're going through right now. They're fighting their foundation who promised money, and now they don't want to give it because they don't like the plans of the library. So fortunately, we don't have to go through that. But it's going to go forward.
Tom, can you assign, so the priorities 1, priorities 2 that PRA did in 2021, can you assign years? Is it possible to assign years to those when you provide that to the city?
Yep.
Knowing that there are higher and lower priorities, it would be nice to have that on our capital plan for the coming years.
Yeah, so all the roofing has been done. The stone, which is was a priority 1, and priority 1 on the retaining wall. the problem with leakage in the children's room is fixed. That's under INT number 7, carpet in children's room is wet after heavy rain. That's all been fixed. We found out that there was a broken pipe and it had to be totally replaced. And so that's all fixed. But most of the priority ones will be covered.
The internals will be covered by the grant?
Yeah.
Thanks.
Cool.
And so I have been working with this contractor out of, I almost said Appleton, but Sheboygan. And he's been providing a lot of good feedback. And so I'm going to talk to him. They want to do business with us, so I think they'd be it will be a very probably cost-effective way.
What's the name of the firm?
You would ask me that? I have only talked to the guy 50 times. It's the biggest one in Sheboygan. Oh, man.
Maybe you can add it on the email to council.
I'm sorry.
Is it
Pardon?
Cautious?
Cautious. Yes.
Thank you.
Anything else on flexible facilities? Not, move on to item B, library garden.
So, library garden is still a work in progress. We've got a lot of rain, so it's been hard to do all the weeding. However, I do have 2 volunteers who have been working on pulling weeds. So hopefully the weed pulling will be done this week. Then we're laying cardboard, and then we're going to be laying mulch, and we're planning in September. I am working with the Great Lakes Bat People. I always forget their name. I'm sorry. But they have been very, very helpful. The Great Lakes Migratory.
Bird and Bat Observatory, Western Great Lakes.
Thank you very much, Jennifer.
Lake Michigan Bird Observatory is their current name.
Yeah, thank you.
Get rid of the bat part.
Their director has been helping me. Well, she's now the ex-director. And she's going to be helping planning the garden. And they have a special connection with a couple of landscapers that we can get really good deals on plants. So we'll be putting it in order probably at the end of this month. And so remember, these are all native pollinators, all that good stuff. And then we'll just have to have a replant party. So it's going to look very bare. But next year it'll look much better.
Okay. Anything else?
Nope, that's all I have.
All right. Do we have a motion to adjourn?
I move to adjourn.
Second?
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right. We're adjourned.
Thanks again.
Thanks, everybody.
Thanks for waiting.